85% of people are making this mistake who are taking Zepbound, WEGOVY, Mounjaro, Ozempic, and I don't want you to make this mistake. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have lost over 95 pounds the last 21 months, almost 22 months of taking GLP-1 medication. I started off on Zepbound, started off on Mounjaro, and then Zepbound, Tirzepatide compound, and now back to Zepbound because of shortages. And on today's episode, my source is going to be from WebMD. I want to do a deep dive of a study that came out. It was from Magellan RX Management and its parent company, Prime Therapeutics, talking about this huge mistake people are making, and I don't want you to make it, particularly if you are on a GLP-1 medication for chronic obesity management, and also for our type 2 diabetes friends. The study said, and I've talked about this previously, but it's become my Roman Empire. I cannot stop thinking about it, and I wanted to have solutions for you. A new study came out of insurance claims data showed that 85% of people who were newly started taking drugs, GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, WEGOVY, Mounjaro, Zepbound, but it's focused in on Ozempic for this particular study, but I'm gleaning it over to the other ones. I'm splashing it over there. We're no longer, drugs like Ozempic, we're no longer taking GLP-1 medication 2 years later. 71% of people stopped taking GLP-1 medications within a year, which means when I started taking GLP-1 medication, which is almost 24 months, I'm at the 21 month, literally like any day, like in the next day, it's going to kick over to 22 days or 22 months that I'll have been on GLP-1 medication. So basically the obesity chick, the morbid obesity chick on the left, when I started, at this point, when I get to 24 months, that will only mean 15% of people will still be taking GLP-1 medications when I started. If you started a year ago, that means only 29% of people will have been taking GLP-1 medications at that point. Many of you who are loyal viewers here at the Countess of Shopping YouTube channel, and I love you guys so super much, this has been on my mind because many of you come in and watch my videos and I'm like, please don't go. Please don't stop taking GLP-1 medication. Because I'm worried about you. I'm like, literally, this is why it's my Roman Empire. This is literally why it kept me up at night, thinking about why people stopped, why 85% of people stopped taking the medication after 2 years. And going over to this research, the researchers analyzed, it was, these are benefits, it's pharmacy benefit management companies based in Minnesota. They researched 3,364 people who started taking any number of GLP-1 drugs, including Ozempic. The average age of the people were ages 46.5 years old, and 81% were women. After 1 year, 29% of the people taking the medicines, and all the people in the study were overweight or had obesity and started taking the drugs in 2021. The study relied heavily on data for off-label usage since researchers excluded people who had diabetes. So excuse me to my diabetes friends, I'm lumping you into this, but the study did not lump you into this, if that makes sense. So GLP-1s were only FDA approved back for the use of 2021 with people who had diabetes. Side note, a lot of people were prescribed off-label who didn't have diabetes, but were prescribed for chronic obesity management. And then now there's a whole host of things, fast forward to 2024 when I'm filming this, for things like sleep apnea. There's a 20% reduction less in cardiovascular events, strokes, heart attacks. Like there's a whole other things and research coming out about that, but that's a different video. So going on about this, later in 2021, a version of Ozempic, FDA approved without diabetes, was marketed under the brand name WEGOVY. So looking at this study, going back over to the study, which literally, it's making me bonkerdoodles, is that the intention behind GLP-1 medications is for people to be on them long term. We're finding a lot out. But what scares me about 85% of people who stop taking GLP-1 medications after 2 years is that we know 70% of people, and by the way, I'm going to cite my source for this too. The link, all of the links I'm talking about today will be linked down in the description link below. We know that 70% of people gain weight all the way back once they stop taking GLP-1 medication. That means only 30%. And I know many of you who are watching who are like, I stopped taking GLP-1 medication and I have not gained the weight back. And I'm so happy for you. Literally, like my heart pitter patters for you. Boom, 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 boom. My heart goes so happy for you. But majority of people do gain the weight back. And so that scares me of people are taking these medications and then they stop and then they gain the weight back and then they're right back to where they were when they started this whole process 2 years previously. Or, you know, if they gain the weight back in like a half of a year or a year or whatever, 3 years down the pike, they're back to where they started. And that is insidious to me. Like literally that is why at late at night, I was like, I have to do a video on this. We have got to talk about this topic because I think it's important for you to have these conversations with your healthcare provider, because I am not a healthcare provider. I never give medical advice, simply my experience, strength, and hope. And I want to encourage you to have these dialogues with your healthcare provider. If you need one, join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN, is phenomenal. But I have a theory. It's my Countess theory as to why 85% of people stop taking them. There's 4 thoughts and school of thoughts of why I think this is and why I want you to think about it for you. And we're going to put on our critical thinking caps while having fun to talk about these. The first one I think is that it's side effects, is that there's side effects with these are gnarly for some people. Less than 1% of people have serious side effects. My source on that, I always like to cite my sources, was when I was on the Oprah show, The Shame, Blame, and Weight Loss Revolution. The doctors on that show from the Cleveland Clinic said that on the show. That's who my source is, that less than 1% of people have serious side effects. So we're hearing stories now about like paralysis in people are having digestional like paralysis and appendicitis and pancreatitis and the thyroid cancer that is genetic. And like you say, less than 1% of people. But most people, the most common side effects are gastrointestinal, 4 of them: diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. And within those, they can be at a higher spectrum or a lower spectrum. And so one of those things of why I encourage people to talk to their healthcare provider about, 1, not titrating up too quickly, and 2, having solutions, which I talk extensively about, because if people are stopping these medications because they're having really bad nausea and you're trying to do work and you're trying to be a mom or you're trying to be a dad or you're trying to do these different things that we have the different hats to do, it's hard when you feel like garbage and you're like, oh, I'm going to barf my brains out. I'm going to not poop, or I'm pooping too much. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And so one of the best things that I did back, roll the footage back, when I first started this weight loss journey was I bought LMNT electrolytes because I knew elite athletes were buying them, and like FBI sharpshooters and things like that, like really, really the pinnacle of fitness people. And so I bought LMNT electrolytes. At the time they were in the stick format. Now they actually have sparkling electrolytes. They have in there magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Why did I buy that and why did I invest in them? I did that because it made me feel better. And I've tested with Mounjaro side effects, without Mounjaro side effects, with taking these with side effects and without, with Zepbound and with Tirzepatide compound, all 3, of using and not using LMNT electrolytes. And do you know what I found? Overwhelmingly, LMNT electrolytes dramatically helped me. Now, when I use the sticks, I pour the whole stick into a 40-ounce tumbler. I like a lot of water with mine. The cool part about LMNT is you can customize it to your flavored taste. And then now I'm obsessed with the sparkling cans, the sparkling water cans. Because I can take them in the car to pick up line. If you see me in car pickup line looking like a lunatic in the morning or in the afternoon when I'm picking up my kid from school and I'm still in my pajamas, mind your business, okay? Mind your business. But almost always, if you look at my cup holder, it's an LMNT electrolyte sparkling, the sparkling electrolyte, because there's magnesium, potassium, and sodium. No dyes, no junk. We give this to the Duke for his soccer games. My son gets really bad soccer games, and so really bad cramps, leg cramps. And so that really helps. So if you're having side effects, for me, the best thing that I did when I was having diarrhea, I needed to replenish my electrolytes. When I was having constipation, the magnesium helped with that. When I was having nausea, just sipping on it lightly throughout the day helped me mentally move past that. Which, by the way, if you're having severe nausea, there's a prescription you can talk to your healthcare provider. It's called Zofran. And there's other ones. Again, I'm not medical, but you can talk anti-nausea medication if it gets too intense for you. But for me, one of the best things was LMNT electrolytes, and they've been very generous. I've negotiated for the Countess of Shopping community. When you go to drinklmnt.com/queen, QUEEN, they'll give you 8 free sticks of any purchase. Don't come to my house at the holidays because I'm going to be using those also for stocking stuffers, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited for my teacher gifts. I'm going to be slipping them cash, but no, I'm just teasing, but kind of not. And also electrolytes, because they're so helpful, so helpful. And now I use element electrolytes to take a turn for muscle recovery from lifting. I lift now with Pilates and doing like strength training. I walk 1 day every week. I walk 6 miles. I am a sweaty mess. My legs are burning after that. And now element electrolytes, it's kind of, as I've continued to transition on my journey, this has been really, really helpful in my health journey. Number 2 of why I think people stop taking GLP-1 medications, and then some solutions for that, is cost. On average, for Mounjaro, Zepbound, WEGOVY, Ozempic, it's around $1,000 a month out of pocket. A little bit less, a little bit more. If you use the savings card for Zepbound, it's $550 now if you're grandfathered in each month. If you're not grandfathered in, if you're brand new and you're taking Zepbound, it's $650 a month. The price got raised. You could do the vials through Eli Lilly Direct, and it would be less expensive, of where you draw up with the needle that Eli Lilly Direct gives you, but you have to go through Eli Lilly Direct, their telehealth company. There's stipulations with that. And it's only for the first 2 doses, the beginning first 2 doses. So the cost, that's insane. And so without the savings card and without insurance, and a lot of people don't have insurance. It keeps coming out that there's news, I say that, but then I keep seeing news sources that a lot of insurance companies are covering, which is somewhat confusing. I think that it's like, what are those? I was watching, what was it, Top Gun, where they shoot out flares from like the Top Gun fighter jets to like divert your attention. And I feel like I keep seeing these like flares, and I'm looking this way and it's really over here. And that I feel like insurance companies are dropping coverage for GLP-1s, but I'm also hearing a lot that they're covering more. So I'll do a follow-up story on that, to be honest. I need to do more research on that for you guys. But the cost, bottom line is it's cost. That is egregious, outrageous, and crazy, which is why many people have kicked over to taking compounds with semaglutide or tirzepatide through compound pharmacies, which Join Fridays does that too, by the way. So cost is an issue. And so I always like to have solutions. I don't have very many. I mean, several people in my group are like, a lot of people are very smart. And in my free encouragement group, it's linked down below. People have talked about how they have extra side hustles. Someone was selling plasma. Like, a lot of people have gotten incredibly creative to be able to afford their GLP-1 medications. We know that relief is going to be in sight with GLP-1 medications because more are going to be coming on the market. And for economics, I'm an economist daughter, supply and demand. Right now, there's only 2 dogs in this game, basically, Eli Lilly and manufacturers and Novo Nordisk. When we have other entry people coming in, that's going to make the prices go down. But right now, for a while, and it probably will be 2 years till the marketplace sees these medications, maybe 3, coming to the marketplace. So cost right now, that's kind of where we're at. 3, access with the shortage. People are stopping medications because actually getting the medications, they cannot in their area. And it's frustrating. Literally, it's like a game of cat and mouse. I just got my prescription, and it's insane to me. It literally is insane to me. I'm like, this is bonker doodles of having to call. I'm like, Zach Morris from 1997 called and wants his mobile phone back of calling, which, by the way, my sister was laughing at me. She goes, you still go like this for phones? She goes, ask a younger person how they do a phone with their hands. It's this. How do you take a picture? Like this. She's like, no, it's like this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. Sidebar. Okay, so access to, let's get back on track. Access with the shortage is the problem. So the shortage, I feel like with opening up, with Eli Lilly opening up the vials, that's helping the starting doses, and that's going to ripple effect. Some people are really upset about that, but the 2 doses, Zepbound 2.5 milligrams and Zepbound 5 milligrams have those that's going to affect all of Zepbound doses. It's going to alleviate the supply chain, at least for those. So that's great news. So with the shortage, we're still shortaging the shortage. A new article came out for WEGOVY. The manufacturer is Novo Nordisk, and it's the same thing as Ozempic, just different FDA approvals. WEGOVY, they said in January, has basically doubled. Like doubled the people are taking it. It's September. No, excuse me, no, it's October. So at the beginning of October when I'm filming this. So that's something to think about. Like, holy chips, that's a lot of people. Like, to double within that small, but it was like the end of September when that data came out, ish. So like in 9 months, 8 months, somewhere in that ballpark when the study came out, that's a lot. And so that's number 3. And number 4 of people stop taking is insurance coverage. And so the studies are coming out and there will be more pressure with insurance companies for GLP-1 medication. Part of this is just going to take time. And I am probably one of the least patient people. Don't pray for patience because you'll get it. You'll get to practice it. And I'm not super patient. And so with this process, it has really forced me to have to practice being patient. Because this is going to get absolved. We are literally, and I want to reframe all of this, we are living at the best time to be alive. To have these medications, my grandmother didn't have this access. She died as a result of a lot of chronic obesity conditions. She had part of her leg amputated off. She lived a very tough life, like many people do. And I think back to her, I'm like, dang, I have a gift. My grandmother didn't have that gift. And in many, 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 many ways, it is the best time to be alive and focusing in on that gratitude that these are life-saving medications. But, we can feel two things at the same time. We can still be frustrated and grateful. And so I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. So how do we overcome and solve these? Because late at night, when I'm putting my head on my pillow, I pray for each and every one of you. And if you don't believe in prayer, I uplift you in positive thought and I wish you well. And so in terms of wishing people well, I'm like, I just want the best for their health of whatever them and their healthcare provider deem that is. And I hope that there's resolution and solution. Some of these we can control and some of them we can't. The cost, we have no control over that. Yes, there's lobbying going on with the Senate right now, and the US Senate is fighting about why the US costs are so high versus Europe, why our European friends and our brothers and sisters are paying substantially less than us. But that is going to take time too. And also, P.S., I have no control over the Senate. I wish I did, but I don't. And so I have there's a lot of things I can change, things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference of where do I want to invest my energy. And so when it comes to stopping this medication, I really want to take a moment to encourage you to talk heavily with your healthcare provider. If you have other people in your household, to talk heavily with them about this, because cost is real. The access to the shortage is real. Side effects are real, and insurance coverage is real. We have but only so much control out of all 4 of those, which no wonder people stop taking these medications. It is hard to stay on these medications. It is not like getting a generic pill, which many of you guys keep sending me the articles about the new GLP-1 that's in clinical trials, that is in pill format. The pill format is going to need a refrigerator, which is part of the reason why distribution is slower with WEGOVY, Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Zepbound, is because they have to be refrigerated. With pill format, that's going to absolve that too. It's going to lower the prices. So part of this is just more time. And so I don't have all the answers. I wish I did. I had some of my answers. And so hopefully those do help you. But also hopefully the number one thing I can help with is providing some encouragement that relief is on the way. You're right where you're supposed to be. And what can you do to take ownership and control back to not feel powerless over this? And for me, it comes back to the things I can focus in on, which are my food choices and my, I almost said athletic ability. No, my physical activity for the day. I can focus in on those 2 things because those are my choices. Those are my choices. And so by giving and relinquishing power to all these other things, that gives me a lot of anxiety, and I want to take my power back. So I want you to take your power back of what can you focus in on today. For me, it's going to be going to Pilates class, swinging my legs around my head because it's so fun on that reformer. If you've not done Pilates, so I started off with wall Pilates and then inched my way towards, now I do private instruction. I went from 1.0 Pilates now to 1.5 Pilates. It's been awesome. And it's been huge, 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 huge for me. And so I want to encourage you what can be huge, huge, huge for you for your health journey. And to figure out how you won't be one of those 85% of people that in 2 years, so going to October 2026, let's fast forward, will you still be on this medication? Knowing that less than 1% of people have serious side effects. And obviously that takes people out of the pool. They're having like gastrointestinal paralysis. That's a small percentage, but it's still happening to people. What can you do for that? So I hope this helps For me, it did, at least knowing and recognizing, and then also being like, okay, let's kind of wade through this and let's come up with some solutions, but also just one foot in front of the other and being patient until more drugs enter the marketplace. That's part of this, I think, too, because it really truly is cost, insurance coverage, and going back to access with a shortage. Running all over town, I don't have an extra 10 hours a week to run all over town anymore, which is why I went over to the compound. And so now, seemingly in my area, and everybody's area is different, depending on where you're watching, but here in good old rural Virginia, it seems like there's been an alleviation in terms of the shortage for now. They're still having it. We're still having it, but it's less. So I hope that helps. I hope that that helps, friends. I do want to make sure that you run to go ahead and get your 8 free packs with any purchase. DrinkElement.com/queen, QUEEN. Use that. You can get the sticks or the sparkling hands. They're both so amazing. I'm going to go have mine now. I'm very excited to go have my Element Electrolyte. It's my reward after this video. Question of the day, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down below, type it out. And number 2, your emoji of the day is going to be a lightning bolt. A lightning bolt. And that tells me I do emojis of the day because it helps for me to get to know you better, because I truly do care by seeing your name over and over and over. And then 2, I'll pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. So as always, it's always a joy. On a daily basis to be here with you guys is such a gift. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. If you've made it this far in the video, I'm so grateful for you. Like, thank you for being a part of my journey. Literally hitting 95-pound weight loss. I am like a stone's throw, a hair away from hitting 96-pound weight loss. I'm gonna get to that 100-pound weight loss, so make sure you click that like and subscribe button so we can keep going together. Like, I'm not here on an island by myself. We're in this together in the Countess of Shopping community, but I appreciate each and every one of you more than you will ever know, truly. When I say, like, she's crying again on the internet, but I get emotional thinking about how many people I get to have the privilege of communicating with on a daily basis about improving our health together, and that is a gift. So, sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, even though there's a lot of mean people out there, but be kind to others anyway, and be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's make it a powerful day. Mwah! Bye.